welcome to another episode of Life After Bells. Hi, my name is Gia, and today I'm with one of my doctors that treated me for my Bell's palsy. Her name is Claudia. I know she looks young, guys. She looks young.
Well, technically I am a speech therapist and audiologist,
yes.
So I guess you can say doctor, because doctor has that healing
Girl,
profession
you
title.
are a doctor. We are putting it in the universe.
I shall take it.
So let's tell people a little bit of what we got up to. But before we do that, who is Claudia? What does Claudia do?
Claudia is a speech therapist and audiologist by trade.
Mm-hmm.
I studied at Wits
Yes.
and graduated in 2016, so not too young.
Yeah.
But have managed to get some good experience across a wide range of things, and neuro is one of the things that I'm most passionate about. But when it comes to speech therapy and audiology, I mean, the scope is endless. There's so much that one is able to do and to help others with, from every age across the lifespan.
I mean, guys, when I tell you that our sessions didn't feel like work. Our sessions were fun.
We had a lot of
Don't
fun.
see her now. Now she's very serious. Okay? Our sessions were a jam. Even when I was in the most horrific pain, which my sister didn't like her for half of the time.
Shame. Your
But,
poor sister, I think, was a bit
like,
traumatized
she
after
was.
coming
She
to the
was.
first
She was
session.
like, I'm stepping out. I can't. But yeah. So what is Bell's palsy? For those that don't know what it is.
So
I
Bell's,
could tell them, but I want you to tell them because you.
I know
have
you.
that-
By
that
now you have
jargon,
all of that,
you know?
that knowledge. But that is one of the most key processes in the therapy as well, because if you don't understand, you're not going to know what is the natural way of movement.
And you helped me tremendously with the
We had
diagrams,
little
and
anatomy
and all of
lessons.
that. But, okay, yes, let's get to
So
it.
Bell's palsy. Bell's palsy is basically it's this spontaneous paralysis of the facial nerve. And Bell's palsy is one of those things that unfortunately doesn't have too much knowledge of its cause. So it's mostly unknown in cause, but now in research, they're starting to bring a link in seeing that certain viruses are responsible and contributing to the onset of Bell's palsy. And I think post-COVID, we've been seeing a lot of these viral-related
I, as
nerve.
one, I'm not a person that had COVID.
I know.
And I remember that was one of the questions that you asked me. You
Yes.
said, did I have COVID? I was like, no.
Yeah.
I woke up and I looked like this.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's completely, spontaneous. It happens overnight, and then those symptoms progress from 3 days to a week for you to get to your worst point.
Yeah.
And only after that does that healing process begin. But yeah, you can't say. Some people, you can find that link cause, other people it's completely unknown. But the most important thing is being able to identify, is it a Bell's palsy or is it another factor that's causing it? So whether it be something like a tumor, or could it be some kind of central cause, or is it from another type of like, for example, multiple sclerosis or any other degenerative nerve disorders. But one of the big things in distinguishing Bell's from your other types of causes is really the forehead movement, because in Bell's you won't have that forehead movement.
Yes,
whereas if it's
struggled with a lot.
exactly,
And it was
lots of facial expressions needed for that.
It was pain.
Yeah.
It paid off. And what would be the symptoms or signs when you can see it come? Because I didn't see any signs or symptoms, but looking back, I think I did feel a little bit of numbness leading towards it being fully.
Yes.
But I'm very hectic, so I didn't think anything of it.
Yes.
I just thought that it was exhaustion.
Yeah.
So numbness is obviously one of them. What else?
So you start.
And how quick can you like prevent it from being
move
fully? Yeah.
So as soon as you start noticing symptoms, so as you're saying, one can have these numb symptoms, although technically there isn't actually any kind of full sensory involvement, but it's purely because of that disconnection across the nerve pathway being transferred to the cortex that gives us this perception of numbness. So it gives us this perception that we don't have that feeling. So 100% numbness is something that we can feel, but often it's the drooping of the mouth, the drooping of the eye, and those will be your most easy to recognize symptoms, and then like you had as well initially with that difficulty closing the eye and that eye dryness, which can also, you know, one might have to wake up thinking, well, my eyes are very dry, but don't go there thinking if you wake up with your eyes being dry that you have Bell's palsy.
I still experience dry eyes till this day. I still do. I still experience the tear in the left eye, but it's not as hectic as it was when we were in therapy. But so okay, it's the numbness, the droopiness, the eye. So there isn't really much that you can.
It's because it's so, you know, it's such a quick, sudden onset.
Yeah,
it's very hard to be. It's not going to slowly creep up on you. It's going to be like, bam, I'm here.
Yes,
it
is because
let's deal with this.
Mine started, okay, it was from the ear and obviously into the muscles and all of that, because I never felt the ringing of the ear when it was happening.
Yes.
But now I do feel it now and again, because it feels like the ear. You know when you in a shower and you tend to have a lot of water in your ear.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like sometimes.
Yes.
But I think that, so what are the recovery symptoms?
So,
if any?
So recovery symptoms will be, you know, the opposite then of what the symptoms are of bowels. So you should start noticing some improvement, which you should hopefully be noticing, you know, within the first month after the onset of symptoms. That's a nice indicator of, you know, prognosis. But basically it's improving that movement in action, your symmetry at rest, and then regaining some of that sensation. So that perception of that sensation. So like when we were in therapy, you know, we focused on quite a lot of different things.
Like,
and
guys, she didn't make me rest at all. At all. She was like, come here, let's do it. We would do mouth exercises, the eye exercise, the forehead exercise.
So to work all of those different muscles of facial expression.
So what is the machine that we were using? What is it called? What is its purpose, and what does it stimulate?
100%. So that, I think that was probably one of the most key elements in your recovery. And a big thing. Okay, so let's start with what it is called. So
what is it?
So we were using the Vital Stim Plus machine, but we weren't using the electrotherapy side of it. We were using the SEMG. So basically surface electromyography, being able to monitor the movement of the muscles. So by placing the electrodes on the face, we were able to pick up when those muscles were getting sufficient contraction and use that level of contraction to help give us that visual feedback in addition to using the mirror. And being able to challenge ourselves at different levels.
God, and that was a challenge.
So hard. And the big thing is that, you know, when it comes to our muscles of facial expression, they all completely, you know, spontaneous. We don't think about it. It's something that just happens. Exactly the same with our swallow and most other all reflexes in the body. So it was being able to isolate those movements and for you to help with that brain muscle connection of, I am able to now see when I'm contracting that muscle, but also relaxing that other side.
That was the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. You know, I am up for challenges, but that, Claudia, that was insane. Like having to smile with one side of my face and not letting the other go up. I was like, what the hell
I
is
know.
this? Is this some... 'cause at
It's
some point I was like
torturous.
this.
I
was like,
know. And you feel like, how is
What
this
the-
going to make me look
you
good
know,
again?
and you were not giving me a chance. You're like, Kia, you better hold that side. Hold it. It's
Yeah.
not supposed to go up. I'm like, Claudia, I can't. You're like, girl, you can.
And
Like,
you did.
I did. Oh my God, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
But it
So-
plays a really important role. And
does.
and the whole science behind that is to help prevent something called synkinesis. So basically that is this
synkinesis.
synkinesis. So
synkinesis.
basically it's an abnormal involuntary movement in the presence of voluntary movement. So if you think of it, like for example, now when you are moving, you are not getting any kind of abnormal movements on the other side. It's all it's the symmetrical look. Whereas sometimes if you are working both sides of the muscles at the same time in that same intensity, because we have these nerves regenerating, and when they're regenerating, they can sometimes create additional pathways to the muscles. And if we don't help train this balance in the movements, it can affect the other side. So when we're smiling on one side, it may develop an abnormal like eye closure on the other side and create an asymmetry now on the non-affected side. So we wanted to work in isolating those muscles, being able to exercise them at different levels and be able to provide that feedback to help with this, reintegration of that nerve to brain pathway.
Okay. So, with that being said, what was the purpose of the plasters that we used?
Oh, okay. So those plasters were, so it's called kinesiotaping. Okay.
Kinesiotaping.
And the pure reasoning behind us doing that was for that extra sensory input.
Yes.
So even though we know,
because it also did help with lifting up my face,
100%, which was a pure, that was purely compensatory to help lift it. But in doing that and providing that sensory feedback, we are helping, increase the input to those neural pathways to help facilitate movement, because movement, as we learned, is driven by sensory input. So, we know that those sensory receptors are intact, but because of this disconnection, because the nerve is under all this inflammation, that sensory input just helps give it that extra bit of power to help drive that motor movement. So it's giving it that extra additional support. It's giving us that sensory input and giving us that increased perception of our movement in space, our body in space, to help facilitate that recovery.
So for those, because we know that this illness is sure, it's very deep in the pocket. It's not cheap. So for those that don't have probably medical aid or the funds to even seek out help to people such as yourself, what are the other means or ways that they can do exercises? Can they check exercises on Google? Would you recommend the exercises that are on Google? What?
So to be honest, I haven't had a look at what exercises are on
there.
Google, but I mean, Google is a wealth of knowledge. We all know that. Dr. Google has got some beneficial facts. But, like I was saying, with you and I, initially, we focus so much on understanding the face, understanding the muscles, and understanding what is this that has now caused this. And
because
at
some point, you were more of a friend than you were my doctor, because there were days where I wanted to give up. There were days where I wanted to cry and you're like, no, we're not crying today, Kia. No tears. There were days where I was angry and I was like, Claudia, girl, can you why on earth did I, of all people, had to go through this?
I know.
Everything was going fantastic, and then they were like, no, girl, pause, stop.
Here's your friend Bells.
You understand? And for anyone that is going through emotions of uncertainty, anger, confusion, shock, everything that comes with it, the tears, wanting to give up, feeling unattractive. Because one thing, for me, this has become a journey and a half, and it has taught me that beauty, yes, is everything, and beauty is what we want to feel gorgeous and attractive and beautiful as women. But this on another level redefines beauty, because you don't walk away the same. I'm not the same as when I was when we were doing it, because obviously I've grown.
Yes. And I'm so proud of you, girl.
Thank you.
You've really done amazing.
So what are the words of encouragement that you can give someone going through a similar, if not the same, experience?
I think it's number one, it's normal to feel all of those emotions. We have to go through those emotions, but we need to keep on that hope that, in 70% of people with bowels, it will spontaneously recover. And when we are doing treatment, and if we catch it early with the right, medical treatment as well, it improves those chances. But basically, with anything in life, if we work at it, we improve it. And, you don't need, yes, it helps to have those resources available and have the funding available, but there's always something that one can do, and mindset plays a big role in it.
Definitely.
One has to be motivated, and one has to really put a lot of effort into it, because even in those points where it feels so discouraging and one's not feeling that improvement, and I know we had that where it was like, I'm not seeing changes.
I was about to say, it's not as glamorous as I look, or the process is made to seem now.
Yeah.
It was ugly, it was bad, it was painful, it was horrible.
Yeah.
No. It was
but
disgusting, in my opinion, guys.
I wouldn't say disgusting.
No, it was disgusting. Don't listen to Claudia, guys. It was disgusting. She saw a side that I don't think a lot of people got to see, from the eye drip, from the mouth drooling, from, guys, this woman touched the inside of my mouth. The inside.
It's fantastic.
Oh my God. The inside. And we had to, okay, sorry. You see, when I say our sessions was just a lot. Okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But basically, with the encouragement, I think, number one is finding a support system.
Yes.
I think everyone needs a support system, whether it be friends, family, doctors, therapists, whoever you can, get that support from. Yeah, you did. And and it really made a big difference. And, implementing into your day things that are going to help, and reminding yourself that even just paying attention to how your face feels when you're speaking, how your face feels when you're eating, bringing that attention to that movement, using the mirror, using, your resources that you do have around you will help you improve. And the biggest thing comes down to understanding how everything works, so that you can have more empowerment in your movements and in the things that you do to incorporate into your everyday, because it did come into our everyday where we had our exercise program. When you were speaking, you were overpronouncing, you were focusing on how those muscles felt. It was when you're eating, you paying attention to those different sensations,
and I had to and chewing more on the left than the right was guys, this thing was hectic. You more on the left than the right. And how many exercises a day would you recommend? Because I know that I wanted to do as many exercises in one day as possible, and you said no. You said, no, you need to rest. And I was like, girl, I need to get back to work.
I know. All
I
you're
need
like
to get
is
back to my life. Before
I've
all
got
of
my
this.
life waiting for me.
You understand? I was like, Claudia, I've been on medical rest for the longest time. You do not understand what it is and what it feels like to having to be still. That was one of the things that I personally struggled with.
I think that's a trouble for every human on earth.
Yes.
I think we all want to just act when something happens and just go.
Yeah.
But the body does not work like that.
And I think it's because of that go adrenaline that I was on for the longest time in my life that led me to Bell's palsy.
It's very likely that it had an influence in some way. Yeah.
So how many times should a person be exercising a day? Once or twice?
Yeah, at least twice a day, but not for long efforts. And this is where one has to also look at your capabilities, because we don't want to exercise ourselves where those muscles develop contractures, or where we can sometimes then promote that synkinesis. Okay.
Yes.
So we have to be very aware, and that's where the professionals come in handy, is being able to help guide you in terms of the intensity of that exercise per day, so that the exercises that we're doing remain beneficial and don't, lead us to having any kind of secondary complications. What we were doing was a lot of relaxing the muscles in addition to working those muscles, which is very important because, we can develop that tightness, that stiffness.
So that is why, ladies and gentlemen, she was in my mouth, because I did experience a little bit of stiffness now and again. It wasn't a lot.
It wasn't a lot, It was more initially.
Yeah. So the purpose of her getting the muscles from in my mouth was because of blood circulation, right?
To help improve that blood circulation, release any kind of like stiffnesses within the muscle, and to basically prepare them for that movement, warm them up for that movement. So that's
Warming
why we
up
always
the muscles was very
did that
important,
prior to starting our exercises, so that it just gives that extra blood flow into the muscles so that when we are trying to activate them, they're in a good state. It's like if we are cold on mornings like today and we try and move, it's like old granny trying to get out of my stiffness.
See, I'm even sick. I can't laugh and stuff is coming out. So twice a day exercising.
Then within your day, you are doing things that is actually exercise. Our face we use every second of the day in our facial expression, in our speaking.
Definitely.
So just by increasing our awareness, it doesn't have to be all the time. But maybe saying, okay, I'm going to have a nice catch up with one of my friends. I'm going to try and really over articulate myself when speaking, to really try and
we were like, how are you today?
and then being very angry,
and having to work those eyebrows and that forehead.
I know, and look at that furrow now. I love it.
I mean, hey. So yes, another thing, how can people get a hold of you, for those that want to get a hold of you after today's episode?
So
where can they come and see you, and what plan can they?
So I work at Wilgehevel Hospital at a practice called De Freitas and Young, and they can call us. We have a website as well, and our line is, I can leave it with you. Maybe you can post it at the bottom of the podcast. But basically, we are a multidisciplinary team there. We have a lot of doctors on board, ENTs,
And
neurologists,
they are the most
physios.
awesome, friendly human beings I've ever come across. Sorry about that.
No, appreciate it. But you're also one of the most awesome, friendliest human beings. So you make it very easy.
You just be nice. You just be kind.
No, just truthful.
Okay.
But yeah, we at the hospital there, we also do offer home-based care. For those people who maybe don't have access to that transport. And, you know, we are more than willing to help, especially myself. It's something I am super passionate about, anything neuro.
Definitely.
And I think that, you know, there is very little in the field, and a lot of people aren't necessarily, you know, fully trained or even comfortable in treating it. And there's so much that can be done.
Yes.
And, you know, the fact that we have that EMG to assist with that, I mean, myself and two of my other colleagues have been trained in that special massage to help release the muscles, because that's something that's not typically included in our undergraduate studies. You know, everything plays such a big role in that recovery. And, you know, I think, not to toot a horn, but when you are passionate about something, I think it definitely improves that quality that one can.
Because also
give.
who you surround yourself with, your environment plays a huge role in how quick or slow you recover.
100%.
So speaking of which, I've almost forgot. Quick question before we finish. What are the other forms of treatment that one can take?
So
besides the
therapy.
Yes.
So besides the therapy, what they basically was a standard recommendation. I mean, you know, you were on it too, your medications that you had to take. And that is typically a corticosteroid and an antiviral. All right. And then on top of that, if you can't find a speech therapist that has the training or the, you know, equipment needed, physiotherapists are also out there. And then other options is acupuncture.
Yes.
And also
which is my second round of treatment
in
shortly.
Other cases, surgery. So for you, I think the acupuncture definitely is worth a go for that residual, you know, weakness on the side. In terms of the literature and acupuncture, because it's, again, so new, there isn't any kind of definitive yes or no. But
it's new in South Africa, but in other countries, a lot of doctors
and acupuncture is used in a lot of peripheral neuropathies, you know. And if you're looking at the stats, it's such a broad range. It can either be a 35% chance to 100% chance of recovery. So it's not going to do more harm. So 100% go ahead with it, in that it's going to help, you know, increase the blood flow along those pathways, and, you know, help with that receptiveness and reduce any kind of tension deeper down that we're not able to access from a surface level, and see, you know, if that helps release those those muscles. Because if that doesn't work, doctors also look at surgical release or even Botox to assist with that release of that muscle. But that's more in your severe cases.
Yes, because there's been those that... So it's possible that you can have Bell's palsy for longer than 20 years, right? Because I was reading that people have chronic Bell's palsy and others have had it for 21 years. And like we were talking, people have it for 3 months. People have it for 3 years. I've had it for over a year.
A year and like 2 months. Yeah. And it's keeping in mind with how long you've had it. Typically, you know, around this point, we should start seeing that recovery. So, you know, that's why it's good you're going for that acupuncture and seeing, you know, what else can one do. And it's all again down to the severity of that initial severity. Now, when we grade it, we basically grade it on a scale called a House-Brackman scale, which is to measure your facial weakness. And with treatment, one if it is more severe, and how we measure that severeness is when the most severe it can get is when one isn't able to close that eye at all. And we know it was affecting that eye. You did have quite a severe form of it.
Yes.
So the amount of improvement that you've had, where you've improved across that Hals-Brackman scale by a good 2-3 levels, is really huge.
Yeah.
Because in most cases, you're looking in successful treatment being at least one stage jump, so considering what you were faced with, you have done absolutely incredibly.
Yeah, and it was, we actually did it quicker than what we had anticipated.
100%, we did. And I think that was due to, number one, your motivation, but number two, that we looked at it very holistically and made sure that we incorporated all systems and made sure that we didn't leave any chance for things going wrong.
Absolutely not. So can one prevent Bell's palsy from coming back or no?
So no, you can't prevent it. The chances of it recurring are, however, very rare.
Yes.
Okay, it's not a high chance of it coming back. And your risk is generally high if you are diabetic, if you have high blood pressure. Even in pregnancy, we see that that increases the chances. But if we think of how the body reacts to stress and to things that cause inflammation, so when one has got severe illness or one is under a lot of stress, whether it be physically, emotionally, those are things that can influence it. Okay. It's not to say it will make it come back, but it is important, obviously, to keep a healthy lifestyle so that it prevents that inflammation, because basically it is an inflammation of the nerve.
So basically, less stress, eat well, drink lots of water, mind your own business, and live a good life.
100%. Live your best life. Don't worry about others. Make sure you are just keeping those stress levels down.
And I remember that was one thing you kept on getting to, that, Kia, live your best life. And I was like, girl, I can't live my best life because I am one that likes engaging with people. And that's where my confidence when we were together, it was like,
I know, I was going to say, you have been the most confident.
Girl. Having to go out there and try and live that quote-unquote best life was horrible.
I know. It's always easier said than done.
Yes, it is. It is. So, is there anything else that you would like to leave the viewer with in terms of, I don't know, uplifting, encouragement, or anything else that you think you forgot?
I think, when everyone goes through something like this, it's a trauma. No doubt, it's a massive trauma.
About it, because also,
but
you lash out at those that love you.
I know, but in any situation, they are always the ones that get the hard truth of it all, the worst.
It was horrible because, yes, trauma.
But it is a trauma. But
I guess that's why therapy is
therapy definitely
important.
Helps. For me, if I have to just relate it to any kind of trauma and any kind of experience of hard things that one goes through, being able to push through it and being able to still try and, live your life.
Yes.
Where you are getting gratification from it and not trying to shelter yourself, because that then has a massive psychological impact as well.
I did shelter myself a lot.
I know you did.
Yeah.
Luckily, we had the mask still there, which I think helped you quite a bit. It's like,
it did a great deal.
Things will get better. I think you are proof and testament of that.
Things will definitely get better, trust me.
And if anything, you'll become a stronger person from it. You will learn a lot about yourself, and it's not something that is going to or that shouldn't affect you tremendously,
Yeah.
where you are not able to live your life. You can still do so much. And, you know, a year is just the start of it. 2 years on, you still recovering, you still having that improvement, and it's really a test of perseverance. And, you know, find that motivation within you to help you get there.
Definitely. So speaking with recovery and being a journey, people shouldn't be alarmed when they feel the symptoms of the headache and the facial numbness again whilst in the journey of recovery, right?
No,
that's not anything like
unless you're seeing a massive regression, then yes. But pain and headache, that's totally something normal. That is quite common.
Okay,
yes.
So I'm still feeling it now and again, so that is absolutely normal.
So I mean, I'm not a medical doctor. I think it depends on the frequency at which you're getting it and the severity of it. The most important things is that you're not getting additional other neurological related symptoms.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, to look out, making sure you're not getting any other kinds of, you know, regression in that strength of the muscles, any kind of audiological based symptoms. So maybe finding that your hearing is now reducing or that.
Well, speaking of which, why does it impact your hearing? And you obviously it's going to impact your speech because of the droopiness of the mouth. But why does it impact your hearing?
So where the nerve lies, all right, it's basically in a small little canal as it enters the skull, and our facial nerve also runs across the ear. And there's because of this close connection and also where the nerves meet, obviously in the brainstem, any kind of severe inflammation can then have impact on the nerve surrounding it, where one then experiences these audiological based symptoms like an ear pain or feeling a bit of fullness or, you know, having some audiological changes itself. And when one does have those changes, then to definitely also see the audiologist and have a look and see if there's any kind of hearing changes on the audiogram so that one can monitor that and also see if, you know, other referrals are necessary.
Okay. So in closing, guys, I'm so sorry. Do you see why I tell you that our sessions were just never ending? I'm sorry. This episode, I haven't seen her in a while, so hence why everything is everywhere. And our discussion is like, it's this, it's that, it's everything. Okay, again, lastly, tell us one more time where can people get a hold of you? One last time.
Okay, so if they...
In case they missed it.
Go online, research the Freitas and Young. We are based at Wilgehevel Hospital. You can, I can give the contact number. It's 011-795-2909. Okay.
I'll also post it.
And you can contact us on email. We also have our WhatsApp line and our website too. But Kia will post those contact details. But basically, it's a journey.
It is.
And I think one has to look rather at the process of the journey and try not focus just on that destination. Otherwise, it can make it a bit harder than what it needs to be. And enjoy the small improvements. Like I would say, it's like, we're getting this much more movement, even though it wasn't significant. It was these little baby steps.
That energy that I was like, yes, girl, let's do this.
Yes.
You know? I think when you're like, if you had to be like, Kia, push harder. You're not giving me what I want. I think that would have demotivated me and like
for sure. I think
not encouraged me to even want to continue.
But it's a process that, you know, one needs to have a good relationship in it for, because it's not just, okay, I'm going to see you twice and ciao. You're off on your own.
Yeah, it's
long. It's ongoing.
The hospital was becoming my second home, basically.
I didn't mind. I loved our sessions.
Okay.
But no, I don't want to see you back there, please.
No, guys, no, I'm not coming back.
And
we'll definitely see each other continuously outside, but no, not in the hospital.
Not in the hospital. Definitely. But I'm very excited to see where or what other acupuncture does for you to help now continue your recovery, because you know, I don't want you to think that, okay, it's been a year and I'm still not back to 100% normal. It's very normal for it to take longer. And, you know, I think in the coming years, we are going to only continue learning more and having more access to all these different
everything else,
you know, modalities to help us, that we got to really take it and keep on improving
and going.
Continue to keep improving yourself, because seeing you today, I was just like, girl, I mean, you really are an inspiration, so well
Claudia,
done.
Claudia, no, we're not crying today. Come on, girl. No. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me, and it was so nice being able to catch up with you. I just hope that we are able to also reach out and help others and let others know that there's a lot that one can do.
And there is hope, guys.
100%. There's hope in everything.
There is hope. So don't let your circumstances determine your outcome.
100%. I think that's nail on the head. Spot on.
Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for joining myself, Kia Mateng, and my gorgeous, beautiful friend now.
Yes.
Friend, Claudia. And we will catch you guys on the next episode. We will see you guys there. Join us in YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. And yes, on my Instagram at Kia_Mateng or at Life After Bells. Yes, we are there. You can catch everything and more that you need with regards to this episode and more there.
I'm super keen to listen to your journey as you
and
make
guys,
these podcasts.
She will be waiting for your appointments. She's waiting. So whoever that needs her, book her now, because she is one hell of a busy woman. Listen to me when I tell you. And she's very hard to book with, because that's how good she is. So book her, use her. You will not regret it. Trust me. I am proof. Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks, Kia.
Thank you. Bye, guys.